How are you doing in Budapest today?
Very fine. We find a very nice weather and very hospitality people, and therefore we are very happy to be able to attend the meeting for a few days because it's a good opportunity for us to contact with colleagues that are far away from my common research area, and that's something that always led us to learn new things.
Right, because you specialize in a subsector of biology, right?
Yeah, let's say conservation biology. Our research group is focusing our attention in projects related to how to keep biodiversity in farmlands, but also in forestry areas. But we include also, usually we also include the perspective of how to teach young people, the students at the school, how to try to let them to valorate their own fauna. But this is something that we never include before the economical perspective in our projects. So in Biosolar, we had the occasion to include also in our research projects what about finance around the human activities, because finally we're speaking on human activities on the land and may produce effect on biodiversity.
Right. So talking about biosolar in this case, what it is the difference? Because we have in the European Union other projects that might be related to biodiversity. So talking about biosolar, what is the unique advantage or the differences that you see in this project that can give an added value to the European Union?
Okay, yeah. As everybody knows, we have a general concern, which is climate change, and then the energy coming from the solar panels is increasing and increasing everywhere. So we find some projects that are rejected by local people because they find that they are affecting their landscape or also affecting the local biodiversity in some cases. But in the other hand, if we believe that if we do the things in the right way within the solar plants, we may even increase the local biodiversity. And then this was the general idea for this project. But obviously, something that we cannot forget is that this is investors doing this kind of solar plants are looking for profits like
Yes.
any business. And therefore, it was important for us to include this point of view, finance around this kind of projects.
Right. So also talking about these solar farms that are very relevant. For instance, I believe in Spain you have great solar farms there. How do you balance this energy production that you have with these solar farms and also the biodiversity efforts? Is something that can be linked positively, or how does this work?
This is one of the goals of the project because we can find sometimes very small installations. For instance, you or me can have in our roof just a few square meters with some solar plants, but in the other end we can find five, 500 hectares continuous with solar panels. So the impact can be totally different. In addition, depending on the specific area, the region is may affect in a very different way. For instance, if we know the northern we go in Europe, the lower sun and also the slope, the inclination of the sun is different. So we are trying to test what happened in southern Europe, northern Europe, what happened under the panels,
Oh, that's very interesting.
and then what see how are things developing under the panel in respect to the biodiversity.
How is the policy making space going to be, I would say, influenced by this project?
Okay, this is not easy to answer
Yeah.
because we have very different regulations depending not on the national of the nation. It's even at regional level you can have different regulations. And what we pretend to invest under the technical point of view when compare what happened depending on the installations, because sometimes even in the same place, the same company have a bit differences in under the technical point of view. For instance, the distances between the panels. And maybe these kind of things are important for biodiversity under the panels. So these are the kind of things that we think we can explore. Finally, we may conclude, okay, if we do like this, if we keep a minimum distance of whatever, then we can combine both energy production at the same time that we are keeping grass. Keeping grass is the way to stimulate biodiversity. You have grass, you have everything eating grass, and then you are also to have predators eating those eating grass.
Oh, that's very nice.
And this is the idea.
Yes. So in that case, also we have this biodiversity strategy for 2030 for the European Union. Then how do you think that Biosolar can help into implementing this, or maybe to have some value added to this project also that the European Union has?
Okay, most of the solar plants are developed in farming areas, and in all around Europe, the farming agriculture is the main reason to lose biodiversity. This is not something new. This is known from the 60s, 70s. So in these areas where we in these farmlands where more frequently we are going to find this installation of solar panels, we may increase the biodiversity when compared with the surroundings. So that's because the project includes always to compare what is still happening around. And probably we think that these places may be like green spots.
Okay.
Within surrounding areas where the classical agriculture continue spreading much more herbicides and so on.
What is the role of Biosolar for the long term? What do you think this project can achieve in the decades to come or in the years to come?
Well, I think we expect to be able to answer some questions. For instance, what are we going to increase or decrease biodiversity? What led us to do next question. What is biodiversity? This is really complex. This is something that we have been trying to explain with our colleagues in this conference, because sometimes it's not easy. You know, only how many species is something much more complex, because we need to understand the role of some species within this consortium of species, what we call the ecosystem. But I think we will be able to say, okay, if we, by doing this, or this, we are going to be able to stimulate biodiversity within the solar plants, because the lifespan is very long. It's 25 to 30 years. And then if we keep for 25 or 30 years these green spots in a surrounding area, plenty of the classical agriculture, maybe this is not so bad. Obviously, the big problem came from when you install the solar panels in the wrong place. We may affect some sensitive birds. For instance, in the Estepari birds is a typical example of how we can produce a huge impact on biodiversity because somebody decided to install it in the wrong place.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's very relevant, I would say, of course, the findings.
Yeah.